Last year in the Lenovo Pro Series, there was a championship battle that went down to the very end at Talladega Superspeedway between Stuart Glenn and Carson Miller. But at the end of the day, Carson Miller beat out Stuart Glenn for the Pro Series championship. He is in the field here tonight to kick off the 2025 Lenovo Pro Series championship season. Can Carson Miller go back-to-back, or will someone else take it away from him? It is the season opening race, and it is the champion 200 for Pro Series night in America. Hello everyone, it is Nathan Saban here, and welcome to Daytona International Speedway, and welcome to Daytona Super Week Part 2. We got a ton of racing action here this week on AG, the channel, and it all kicks off with race number 1 of the 2025 Lenovo Pro Series. And this is going to be a fun series to put on. Thanks for Care for letting me do this one here in the winter and the fall. And we're going to have a lot of fun. 17 races, similar schedule to last year, some different racetracks that we don't normally go to, but we kick it off with one that we recognize fairly well, of Daytona International Speedway. 26 cars, 26 drivers, 13 teams all season long, and we got the owner reins back as well. And speaking of owners, we got a owner up here in the booth for this one. We got the owner of Trial Racing, and I know my truck owner. We got Travis Crampton up here in the booth for this one. Welcome to the Pro Series Night in America at Daytona.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here in the World Center of Racing, Daytona Superspeedway. Can't wait. This race is going to be exciting.
Absolutely, and with how these drivers line up, we got a lot of drivers that we've seen all year long in the Sprint Series, but we got a couple of new drivers, and we got, of course, the defending champion of Carson Miller here tonight. And the way that this series was, he got a sign for each week, but depending on how Carson Miller does, he could be a championship contender. But how do you think it's going to work out with the monkey wrench and the things? Where it's not like the Sprint Series where the cars are going to be equal. The driver lanes are, but throughout the season, all 13 of these owners will be able to adjust on their cars for the 17 races.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, especially, once the race is over and that sign-up period opens. I feel it's going to be a lot of a mad dash, and for those really top teams, and we won't really know the top team until we get maybe 2, 3, heck, maybe 4 or 5 weeks into the season. Once we start seeing those ratings, that obviously won't be nothing like the Wawa Cup Series or the Turkey Truck Series, where both driver and owner do ratings and everything gets spread out after a couple of weeks. But I think it'll be a lot more tightly packed, but I do feel like once we get to the mid part and later part of the season, you'll start to see which teams are the better teams, and it's definitely going to be interesting, especially in that sign-up period.
Absolutely, and in the middle to the end part of the season, have some drivers make a mad dash in the comments and try and go for one of the top teams in the Pro Series, or who knows, it could be really tight. We just gotta wait and see what ends up happening. But here tonight, we got 26 drivers, a little bit more than last year, I believe, and on the pole is one of the drivers going after the Sprint Series Championship, racing tomorrow night, and he's going up against his car owner here tonight of Aaron Abel, so that's going to be interesting of how that goes in the final 2 races over there. But Alexander on the pole, he won here in the first race at the start of the season in the Sprint Series, and maybe he can win here tonight in the Pro Series. Alongside him is Davison in the 71 for Titan Fury, the 62 of Kobe Light for Pacific Racing, the 52 of Ryan Dwani Racing with Emily York Watson, the 23 of Chase McClure for Cohen Racing Enterprises, and the number 7 of Joey Hightower for Logan Sport. Those 6 drivers barely missed out on signups for the Tokyo Truck Series, so they got a reserve for Daytona only. They will have to sign up starting next week if they want to continue. Then 7 on back is based off of sign-up time and who was able to get a spot in first. So BP Ruiz in the number 33. The number 47 of last year's champion, Carson Miller. And then in the number 87, last year's car winner that won here at Daytona, that's the 87 of Zane Kovac. And the number 61 of one of the cars of Hallie Anderson Jr. The number 40 of Bradley Ream in the Taco Bell machine for BO Racing. And the 25 of Gail Zendoska. The number 99 of Johnson Jameson for Tyson Fury. And the number 80 of Dennis Stanley for BO Racing. And then the number 37 for Top Director Network of Matt Black. And the 41 of Angel Gutierrez. The 27 of Mark Richardson. The 63 of J.O. Wimbledon. The number 88 of Sammy Camaro. The 72, the second Twilight car. Tonight that was Bobby Rufus Jackson. The number 17, that is Juan Rodriguez. The number 16 of Charles Bowen, who's been on a roll as of late in the Sprint Series. The number 64 of Samir Oskin. The number 51 of Mikey Fox, development driver to Eddie Dubs and Company. And then running at the grid is the 78 of Alex Tanker and the number 32 of Trey White. 26 cars, 26 drivers throughout the season in a fairly similar format of the Hurdle Sprint Series, but only 17 races. You gotta be on top of your game all throughout the fall and winter if you want a shot at this championship, with it only being 17 races. But I'm gonna give you possibly the hardest task all season long, drivers. Who do you think will win and start the season right by winning here in the Champion 200 for the 2025 opener of the Pro Series?
Well, I think it's going to be a fantastic race, obviously, but you know what? I'm feeling very confident here today. I think last season's champion, Carson Miller, in that 47 is going to start the year off right and possibly have a chance to go back-to-back championships. I think he's going to win here at Daytona.
Not a bad pick. He got a good result last year here, I believe, and he's someone to watch out for. Maybe go out here and get a second Lenovo Pro Series championship. That would be very impressive to do so, but it's going to be interesting of how everything plays out. It's just like the Sprint Series. You got to sign up each week, and the more you sign up, the better of a chance you have at the championship, obviously. But it's going to be interesting of what teams, like we've been saying, come out on top and see what teams these drivers go after throughout the rest of the season. Tomorrow night, we have the second to final race of the Hurdle Sprint Series season, with Alex Angelo and Aon Abel, and even maybe Matt Black going after the championship. But tonight we kick off the 2025 Lenovo Pro Series title race, and we are waiting to see of who will be the opening winner of the season. No one's worried about the championship here tonight. They just want to win at Daytona and start right. And it would be Alex Angelo and Zane Davidson leads to the green. It's Pro Series Night in America for the champion 200 at Daytona. Alright, 3Y all over the place here at Daytona, and it will be Zane Davidson lead lap number 1 in the 2025 Lenovo Pro Series Championship fight.
Oh boy.
And how about this as the early start, maybe 4Y on lap number 2.
A very aggressive move right there from Zane Kovac. 4 wide. Watch this corner. We're good through turn 2. Down the back straightaway. Still 4 wide.
Oh,
The 71 of Zayden Davidson is loving this in his mirror. But, man, that is like row number 3 in the pack. If you're anyone else, you are scared for your life right now. These guys are bouncing off each other. We are getting close, and we may rack off a turn 4.
the 17's going to try and lift up for the 33 of Ruiz, and he's going to do a fantastic job. Further move from Rodriguez, state development driver for Troy White, and how about that on lap number 2, coming to lap 3, a close call there. But we're going to be all fine for now, and I guess overall it worked out for Kovac. He was able to leave that lap, but not really what he wanted to do to open the scene, to maybe ruffle some feathers. But here comes the 40 to the race lead, that's Bradley Ream, and here comes the 99 of Johnson Jameson, the 33 of Baby Ruiz, who still has a slim shot at the Sprint Series Championship. Rodriguez, who backed out of that 4 wide and allowed it to calm down, he's on the move. And here comes Matt Oskin as well.
And here comes on that bottom lane what I'm dubbing the 32 as the cheese car. Here comes the Tillamook machine.
The cheese car indeed, one of the Pacific racing cars. A nice looking paint scheme there for Troy White, and the 32, of course, a couple weeks ago. Shocked everyone and won at Watkins Glen in the One World Cup Series as an uncharted driver in the hot seat car. So see what Troy White can do in the aforementioned cheese car.
And now here comes that 78 machine of Alex Tanker trying to take the lead from that 64 of Sam Oskin. Of course, Oskin driving for Intersys Motor Racing, which is owned by Ludovic, who I believe is taking over the majority ownership of the Grattan Alliance.
And that's definitely a top team right there. And it's been a rough season in the Sprint Series, only 1 win over there. And maybe something better can happen here tonight in the kickoff of the Pro Series. Alex Tinker was able to leave that lap and get a bonus point. And right now it's not really a cycle. Some of these cars can stay up a little bit longer, but right now these guys just trying to figure out who has the best car. Here comes Rogel's team, or one of them, the number 27 of Mark Richardson on the inside. And Racing Motorsports always good at the super speedways. Here comes the 41 of Angel Gutierrez. 3 wide throughout the field early on.
And yeah, and right now we're starting to see what some of the guys, if you're in the mid pack or in the back, you don't want to see this. Right now it is looking like a gridlock between all 3 rows, and we could have it. I mean, but all it takes is one person to, when we did see how impatient Kovac was early in the race trying to get up to the front. I mean, it worked, he led a lap, but he fell back on the top side. But now we're starting to see that gridlock, the 3 best, or possibly best cars. I shouldn't say best because you don't know for sure, but these guys still trying. I thought the 32s might get clear off of turn number 2. Not quite, but we are in a slight little gridlock situation. But I think that bottom line might have some momentum here. That 16 is able to push that 32 out front in the corners.
Absolutely. I think the 16, 27, 41, 61, 51, 72. I think that inside lane has some good cars in it. But I think that middle line have a good one as well. Side by side of the line. I don't know who led that lap. It will go to the 17th of Rodriguez, but it was probably a tie right then. Who knows, we could see that at the end of this race if it stays like this with this gridlock situation. You got the number 16 right behind him, Charles Bowen. I mentioned that he's been really good in the Sprint Series. He's won 2 in a row in that series, and he's trying to keep that streak going. But how about a Ludovic's team, Intersys Motor Racing? That 64 Cement Oskin giving a good push to Alex Tanker, and I think it might work out for him this time to lead lap number 7.
We'll see if they can get a good run off of turn number 4 and down to the line. You are correct on that. Alex Tanker got a great push and will lead this lap and just barely give the second place to that 17 of Juan Rodriguez, and still in that gridlock formation, but still only on lap 8. Plenty of things can happen. I mean, all it takes is someone from that top or middle lane to blow an engine, and then stuff could go all to hell. Not that I want that to happen to anyone. I'm just saying it could very well happen in this race. I mean, it is Daytona. You know, you're on throttle full time. It takes a lot on these engines, and also, you know, these guys making moves and stuff. And with it being in this gridlock formation, there's not much air moving around on the back as well. So you got to watch out for maybe some of these guys having some overheating issues.
Absolutely. We've seen it before at Daytona with some mechanical issues, and it could happen here easily in this one. Still a gridlock, and gotta think, we're not even halfway through. It's only 20 laps, but we're only on lap 9 of 20. So these drivers have plenty of time. They can just chill, but some of these guys, like Bowen, he looks to be aggressive. He keeps on peeking out halfway down to the inside, maybe trying to get clear of the 32, and got a great 1-1 and 2, and the 32 of Trey White might be able to get clear, but the outside lane, Oscar gives such a great push to tank it down the backstretch.
Absolutely, and like I said earlier, the 32 can get good speed on the corners, but that bottom lane just does not have the push on exit, and that middle and top line on corner exit of turn 2 and turn 4, they just get such a big run, and every time when they get to the line, they beat that 32, and once again, a close uh, finish at the line right there. 78 led that lap barely, and this time by will be halfway through this race here in the Champion 200.
Absolutely flying on by, and that's the second or third time that we've seen a full finish at the line, and we could see that happen here in this one. As this one keeps on going on, the 16 keeps on pushing the 32 closer and closer to getting out front. Almost was clear off of turn 2 that time by, so I think this inside lane is stronger overall, but the outside lane, especially off turn 4, is where you want to be side by side again, where we see a full finish. This time by, not quite as bad, but not quite as close. Tanker will lead another lap, and if he keeps on doing this, he might be able to get another bonus point for leading the most laps here tonight.
Yeah, and all of that is most in part to that 64 machine and on back. I mean, that outside line, yeah, they might lose a little bit of ground in the corners, but the amount of ground they gain up from that shove from Samonoski is insane. And especially off of turn 4, it seems like they always get a good run off of turn 2, but off of turn 4, they get a big shove. And it seems like, in the last couple laps, that 78's almost been clear entering turn 3. So, it's only a matter of time, I feel like, until maybe that 78 gets clear, but these guys, sometimes you saw right there, the 64 washed up and wasn't able to get a good push to that 78. And this time it's going to be a little bit closer, but still, once again, 78 led that lap.
And maybe a little bit of tire might be in effect. Not a ton, but I'm noticing these guys maybe slipping up a little bit. Like you said, Oskin washed up a little bit. And gotta see if that ends up going into effect here. Bowen, I'm a little bit nervous about. He keeps on peeking out, and I feel like he might get a little bit aggressive here late in this race. 8.5 laps to go. But everyone's just at a good lot. Bowen peeking down half a lane lower. He might make it full wide. Emily, York Watson peeked down in the back. But I think it's kind of what we've been saying always. Some of the best cars at the moment are just gridlock up front. And this is just hard to make anything look behind them.
And another thing that I don't like about how the 16 of Charles Bowen is off-centered and trying to peek out. It's whenever every time he does that, it hurts the inside lane. They lose momentum, and it doesn't. They basically just doesn't push the 32 at all. So every time he does that, it just hurts the inside lane more and more. And I feel like that's also partly why that inside lane cannot get as good of a run as it did earlier in the race, because that 16 car is just being a little bit too aggressive, and once again, really trying to push that cheese car up the hill.
Yeah, I think Bowen thinks that he has a better car than the 32. Which that is a same deal on car versus a Bloomington prepared car, but honestly, a lot of these teams are big teams, and it's pretty impressive that we've not seen an incident yet. Of course, we had a 4 wide close call early by the A7 of Kovac, but other than that, clean and green up at this point, getting closer and closer to the point of no return. And for the 78, I think it's pretty much sealed it up to this point. I think he will get a bonus point for leading the most laps, but can he hang on to get the one that is most important, and that is the final one?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, that 78's been getting the best push out of anyone at off corner exit, and every time, once again, he'll lead this lap. That was close. We'll see if they're going to give that lap to the 78, and they will. Just barely, but they will. So, if it keeps up like this, as the 64 is somehow backed off a little bit. And that 78 is going to drop back, and the 17 is going to get clear, and that gridlock's going to end, and we will see here what this is going to move. I don't know what happened right there to that 64 of Sam Oskin. I don't know why he lifted, or maybe something happened, but I mean, that just hurt that outside lane a ton. And now that 78, who was leading the most laps, he's not going to be in the lead position anymore on that outside line.
And now Bowman is going to get to the inside. He's going to easily blow past the 32. And I think my feeling might be right. The 16 might be really fast. And now we might have a little bit of a cycle of situation right now with a lot of good cars up front. The cycling now with 5 laps to go at Daytona. The 27 of Mark Richardson up here. And how about the 41 Angel Gutierrez? And both of those Twilight cars working together in a row. The 61 of Howard Anderson Jr. and the 72 of Rufus Jackson. And I think the 32 might have been holding up that inside lane as the 16 and 27 have moved up to the front. Now is the 17 versus 27. Look at that move from the 41 barely to the inside.
Angel Gutierrez says, hello, Hardy's coming through. Get you a cheeseburger on that one. But here comes my 2 cars. I think my 2 cars are making their move a little bit too early, so we'll see on how that works out. I mean, we could have another gridlock situation right here because, I mean, obviously we know how good that 78 and 64 up top, but that inside middle line might be a little bit weak with that 32 being up there. I mean, I know the 16 is strong and the 27, don't really know too much about that 27 car just yet, so we'll see. But right now it's looking like another gridlock situation here late in this race.
Yeah, looks like we kind of shuffled out the 32, replaced it with the 41, shuffled out the 78, replaced it with the 27 and the 17. But look at that middle lane, a huge push, and now it's going to be 27 versus 17, Richardson versus Rodriguez here with 3 laps to go. So now this is going to be very interesting because it's not really a gridlock anymore. And now it's going to be side by side for the race lead. This time it was the 17 barely leading that lap. 3 laps to go, and honestly, I don't know who's going to get this one. It might be the 17 if Rodriguez here.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't think that inside line is that. I don't think that 41 car is that strong. Wasn't able to hold the bottom pretty much at all, and now we'll see how this goes here. Might try to go back down to the inside, and maybe the 61 might try to make it 4 wide. We'll see right here. That's close. The 41's going to block that move, and we will see this once again. I think that 17 is cleared down to the bottom, and now that 17 is going to try to block that outside groove of that 78. We know how strong that 78 car is earlier in this race, and it's only if that 78 can get down to the middle groove, that would be something. And now it looks like that middle groove has completely flustered away because now it is too wide for the first 2 rows.
2 laps to go, side by side, 2 rows deep up front. Twilight leaning down on this inside lane, but I think that 41 is kind of holding up these guys. Twilight is on the move, but that 17, the 78, and the 64 have been so strong on that outside lane. But you got 2 Dodge teammates on the inside lane. 1.5 laps to go. 17 is clear. 17 is clear of Juan Rodriguez. They have to try and block not 1, not 2, but all 3 lanes for 1 more lap.
Oh boy, and they are washing up the hill. Watch out. We are 4 wide almost. The 7 washed up, but he is good. And now we are at the white flag lap. Can the 17 of Juan Rodriguez hold on? Or will someone else take the victory? You got to watch out for the Triad cars. Got to watch out for that 27. And heck, if that 78 pushes that 17 out front, that 78 of Alex Tanker might make a move.
Absolutely. Tanker could get a good enough one. Maybe get clear. 61's going to get to the middle. Block the 27. Going to have some help with Rufus Jackson and the 72 machine. It's going to come down to, I think, the 17 and the 61 to 3 and 4 for the final time. While he races us spin, 17's going to get a massive one up top. 61's going to get one on the bottom from his teammate. Side by side at the line is going to be the number 17. Juan Rodriguez barely hangs on for Logan Sport and will win the Champion 200 in the full finish.
And all of that right there was caused by the 61 not having a partner shoving down off of turn number 4. That 17 had the 78 on his bumper the entirety of those last 3 or 4 laps, and that absolutely helped the 17 of Juan Rodriguez to get that victory, and it's absolutely deserved. That outside line was probably the best line all race in this race here today.
Absolutely, it can change sometimes between the middle, outside, and the bottom, but especially with some of the colors that were on the outside lane, like the 1778 and the 64 especially, were some of the strongest colors always long. And it was not by much, but Logan Sport and Juan Rodriguez kicks off the season with a bang in victory lane in the Champion 200. What a race, though. A little bit of gridlock, a little bit of a cycle, and a little bit of two wide at the end. A 1v1 battle, and Juan Rodriguez gets the race win in a chaotic race, and only by that much, 0.011 was the finish. It was close. It can't get closer, but what a full finish here at Daytona.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't ask for a better finish right there. I mean, obviously you can get maybe a 0.000, but still, that's as close as it can possibly get without having any sort of issues.
Absolutely, we've seen closer. It could have been a 0.001, but honestly, with what you were saying, the inside lane didn't really get the help it needed. The 72 didn't quite get to the back bumper of the 61, and I think that affected it a little bit. And the 78 pushed the 17 up ahead and was able to barely hang on and get the race win. And one of the stronger cars gets the win here tonight.
And how about that for Juan Rodriguez as well? First career win on the AG channel.
Great win from Juan Rodriguez. Of course, development driver to Trey White. Well, not Trey White, Trey Smith, wrong Trey. But it's good to see Trey Smith, just to make Trays, get a race win as a development driver with Juan Rodriguez. And what a race here at Daytona. No big one. A couple of close calls. But a great race win from that 17 team. Hallington Jr. gets second, Tanker in third, gonna get the bonus point, I believe, for me, leading the most laps. Mark Richardson in fourth, and Bobby Rufus Jackson rounds out the top five. Cement Oskin in sixth, Shirley Hightower in seventh, Angel Gutierrez in eighth, BB Ruiz in ninth, and then how about Emily York Watson will round out the top 10 in that one. Also, final thoughts here, and what are you looking forward to the rest of the week here at Daytona with the World Cup Series, the Tokyo Truck Series, Sprint Series, amongst everything else?
Yeah, it's definitely a very busy week here in the AG world at the Daytonas, and it's going to be very, very interesting. Obviously, can't wait for the World Cup Series race, and obviously the Tokyo Truck Series race. I can't wait to rewatch this race when it goes back up. It's honestly, Daytona is always one of my favorite tracks to watch, but and I mean, I think it's everyone's favorite track to watch for multiple reasons. But I can't wait. This race was just as good as I think what you're going to see in the Wawa Cup Series race, and especially the Tokyo Truck Series race. I think the Tokyo Truck Series just starting off. That race is going to be also kind of similar to what you saw in this race with the ratings being really close and what fourth. So I think it's going to be a fantastic weekend of racing here at Daytona.
Absolutely, and you know what? We are just getting started for the Lenovo Pro Series for 2025. Race 1 in the books. And Rodriguez gets the race win. Next week we will be at Darlington, part of that Darlington Super Week here on AG the channel. Signups will be tomorrow night at 7:30 at the same time as the Sprint Series. So that's all we got here tonight here at Daytona for the Lenovo Pro Series season opener. A fantastic race here, and we gotta wait and see what ends up happening for the rest of the season. I'm very much looking forward to this series, this mod, this car set, and some of the tracks that we have on the schedule I've never done before. And I'm very much looking forward to it, and I'm excited of who will be in top contention by the end of December, or in the middle of December, I should say. Congratulations to Juan Rodriguez on the race win, and we will see you guys next week at Daytona for Pro Series 9 America. But tomorrow night for Sprint Series 9 America, we will be here at Daytona for the Sprint Series for the Florida 200. Until then, have a great rest of of the week with Daytona Speedway Part 2, I guess, for the year. And we will see you guys next week for the Lenovo Pro Series at Darlington Raceway.